Alright, so if you're here, it probably means that you're considering buying a Z06, which I think is a great idea. It's great value, as I made a video about it earlier, about why it is such a good deal. But kind of want to go over some of the things that I considered before buying it, and just some kind of known issues with them, as well as then just the differences from year to year. I guess the first thing is 2006. It was the first year out. It was the lightest. I guess, for me personally, I've always tried to, not get the first year of any car out there, no matter what it was, but, there's no real extra known problems about that. The only thing is that there was a roof recall in 06 that you should probably make sure was done before purchasing it. 07, there was a couple new colors. There's some sound dampening material that was added to the interior. I don't know, I have an 07, I can't tell much of a difference between that and an 06. As well as OnStar was added. I am not a subscriber to OnStar, even though GM keeps sending me emails and calling me and asking me, but that is an option there if you want it. 08, that was the first significant change. They changed from the T56 6-speed transmission to a Tremec 6060 transmission. The T56 can handle pretty much any power that you put through it through the the LS7, but some people do prefer the 6060. So that is something to consider when looking at it. 09, really the only big change there was they added the spider wheels. I guess I changed the wheels to aftermarket anyways, but if you want to just kind of get them and keep them, that is a good option. 2010 was the first year they added launch control. I've never tried it, but from what I understand, it's not very good, especially once you start modifying it and the power increases. But if you're just gonna keep it stock and just maybe once in a while launch from the stoplight, it probably will go just fine. 2011, they added a more aggressive exhaust note to it. Again, it's one of those things I can't really tell a difference from the ones that I have that were stock, so it's kind of up to you. They did add the carbon edition in 2011, so that's another one. It is obviously much lighter than, not much lighter, but it is lighter than the regular Z06. 2012 and 2013 were the last years of this generation. They're pretty much the same. One thing is they did change the bearing material for just longevity and just reliability. I guess I'm not really sure how big of a deal it is, but that is there, so definitely take that in consideration. Also, 2013 is they also had the Centennial edition. Again, I know a lot of domestic Chevy, GM, Ford guys, they like these special editions, so that's out there for them, but for me it made no real difference. Alright, so I also wanted to then go over some of the main things to look at when you're looking to buy one of these cars. Okay, so now that we've kind of gone over, some of the different differences in the years, I wanted to go over some of the things to look at before you buy your car. The first one that I'm sure any conversation talking about the Z06 and purchasing it starts with is the cylinder heads. There was a known problem that some of them tended to drop valves. GM never really kind of acknowledged it. There's actually a class action lawsuit still pending with it. Essentially, so they sort of claimed they thought they had it in just mainly 2008, 2009 due to one supplier, but that it was across all years, so that's not true. A lot of people, when they look at these cars, they look to see if they've been fixed or changed. It's a good time to do a heads and cam package. So my car was bone stock and it still has the stock cylinder heads. I'm definitely planning on upgrading it this year. I was thinking of doing it last year, but just kind of ran out of time. One thing you can do, mentioning that lawsuit, is you can go and just register as a plaintiff. I don't know for sure, but I believe it's William D. Pilgrim versus GM is what it's called. You can go and you can sign up and with the law firm. I think it's like Knapp and something or else, but they'll add you as a plaintiff to it, so something ever does come out of it. But yeah, that's the main thing. The main thing above all to look at is if someone has replaced the cylinder heads on it. It's probably one of those things where within the car community, it's probably a pretty big deal, but in reality, it might not be. It's probably a pretty small percentage, but on the internet, things just kind of get overblown. So no one really knows. It is an issue, and it's something that you should look at and possibly address. The second thing is I would always do or recommend doing an oil analysis. You're looking for titanium flakes from the rods. I guess I'm not sure how often it occurs, but it is something to look at, just kind of give you a good idea of, the health of the motor. And I guess the other thing is always make sure that the recalls were done. I think there's only about 4 or 5. Don't quote me on that one. The big one, like I mentioned earlier, was the 2006 roof recall. There has been a couple done, so it is good just kind of check, just to save yourself some headaches and time down the road. The 2007, this is what came up when I was searching around for it. I don't know if this is all models, but it's something to at least have in the back of your mind. There is also a potentially bad rockers. I don't know how widespread it is, but this is something when I was looking at them and talking to people that they came up as far as being mainly 2007. So that's another one. Also, you want to check the A-pillar and the dash leather. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but it is kind of pricey to replace. So just run your hands on it. Make sure it's smooth. There's no bubbling or cracking or anything like that. Another thing is the clutch fluid. The master cylinder and the slave cylinder have kind of a reputation on these cars for going bad. Again, I sound I'm kind of like a broken record. I keep repeating this. It's one of those things that's probably on the internet is a little bit overblown, but it is, it's a good thing to check. I flushed all the fluids in my car anyways, because these cars don't get driven a ton for the most part. So, who knows when the last time was that all the fluids were changed. So it's a good idea anyways, just to change it. But, if you inspect it first, you can sort of see, kind of get a gauge of where the health of the clutch and transmission is. The final thing, and this one's not really a huge one, but the axle nuts and sway bar links tended to get a little loose. So, just check them, just jiggle them around a little bit, see, make sure they're tight. And if they, they're loose, you definitely want to, tighten them up. But those were the things that basically I looked at before I bought a C6 Z06. And I don't want to, it sounds like kind of a lot, and now that I'm thinking about it, that, there's a lot of things to look for, but it really is a great car and very low maintenance. The cost is really cheap, like I was saying before. So I don't want to deter anyone from buying something. Just make sure you do your due diligence, like with any car. Just, because you don't want to get a car and be, have it be your dream car, and then it ruins the experience because the car ends up being a lemon, stuff's breaking, and it just gets expensive. That's no fun. I've had a car like that. I think most car people probably have, where they had a car that was seemed really good and too good to be true, and that like the saying goes, it usually is. But thanks for watching. That's sort of all I had to say today. I just want to again cover some things to think about before purchasing a C6 Z06. I appreciate it, and we will see you next time.